Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in gloomy Southern California. That guy out there is
Jay Silverman in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona.
Do you have sunshine today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're getting rain again. It's crazy. This weather. There are houses sliding off the edge of the beach and all kinds of.
Take it. Wow, Arizona's been less drought, but we'll take some water.
Hey, if it goes your way, take it.
Whatever you got.
Today, Jason and I'm kind of excited because we are actually got the next wave of expressions from Prolijo Mezcal. For those of you who remember, we actually did the tasting of the first few expressions and the first batches from this company, and it's taken them. That was about a year ago, I think, right, Jason?
Had to be a year.
Yeah, probably a year. You can find all those reviews on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook. But these are the newest expressions, and this one today we're gonna taste and dissect. It's Espadin Reposado. So yes, these are they're beginning to age these in barrels, which is kind of unusual in the mezcal industry, except for Scorpion Mezcal, famous for aging those in their French oak barrels. And this one's kind of a lighter version. It's what, 42 ABV? Is that what it says on the?
Well, first of all, what a great looking bottle. I love the gold and black label and the straw.
Yeah, well, the foil.
It's a handsome looking bottle. Oh man, what a great looking label. I just love the way the colors blend with the actual gold color, the Reposado, with the gold ink on here, or whatever you call that print.
That's a foil. It's kind of
it's gorgeous. But it's funny, Mike, I'm not always the biggest proponent of aged mezcal, because I do feel like the distilled and unaged mezcals are a big part of the category. However, I was talking to a great bartender the other day at the resort where I work, and we were talking about mezcal old fashions and how popular they've become.
Yeah,
and you gotta have a Reposado. You have to. He's like, you have to have a Reposado or an Añejo mezcal for the old fashioned. And I'm like, you're not wrong. You're making a lot of sense right now, because you can do it. And if you go back to like the first mezcal old fashions may have been like Phil Ward at the Death and Co. or Mayawell back in New York City. He was known for some of those mezcal cocktails. But yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense using a Reposado. So I'm curious to see that in the back of my mind. We'll see how that comes out.
Well, we've had the full line of Scorpion Mezcal, and he was one of the first ones to start aging in a barrel, and they were using French oak. And I mean, I've got a sealed bottle of French oak. I think they want to call it an añejo, but it's one of those prized bottles you may never ever see again. And I haven't opened it yet because, but I gotta say, it's not. I'm okay with if they're going to age it, and if it's done well. To me, how many times have I said to you, if the mezcal is good, you could pour it in your tennis shoe, and it's just going to add another layer of complexity, right? So that smells really good, man. Whoa. I'm going to use my Stasso Jarrito for mezcal, which is a little wider mouth. What are you using?
Well, I miss my Stasso Jarrito, and I wish I still could find it. But since in its absence, wherever it, rest in peace, wherever it may be, we'll use this handy Glencairn.
You know what? Glencairn, it will work, because
I'm going to use that.
Those are the two. Believe it or not, folks, if you're not aware, the Stasso Jarrito and the Glencairn are also made by Stasso.
Well, you know me, I'm old school, Mike, so I'll just use whatever's still standing. And I haven't gotten any new glassware in a while, but here we are with this classic tasting glass. Can't go wrong with that.
I've got a ring light in front of me, but it's a little dark in this office here. But I don't know if you can see the color. You probably see the color better on Jay's camera. It's a pale gold. This has been aged for a while. Looks like.
Nice color. Yeah, there's some time in the barrel.
How's your legs and tears?
Oh, it looks pretty. I mean, I've been rolling it around, but yeah, it looks like it's got some viscosity a little bit there, and then it's a very appealing color. And
By the way,
it looks
the
natural.
nose,
And
did you smell you smelled the neck of the bottle? I smelled the cork and then the nose. That was some powerful stuff in there already, man.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. This looks fantastic. And I mean, if you saw that bottle on the shelf, I'd be like, yeah, these guys look like they know what they're
You know
doing.
what? I was going to say, is this bottle recycled? Because it looks like it's kind of like a green tint to it.
Yeah, it does have that nice green tint. And then if you look at the lower part of the label, there's quite a good amount of information. It says 2 months in oak barrels. We've got a hand labeled batch number on there as well. And
Oh, okay.
you know, it's got a fair amount of information, the lot number, the nom on the back, and then 43 ABV. So I'd say pretty enticing. Let's give it a shot.
So it says American oak barrels, and it is Espadin. So it's a agave angustifolia. I always mispronounce that. I always put it as Augustifolia, but it's
Angustifolia with an N, yeah.
Yeah. 43 ABV, but it smells a lot stronger than that. Of course, these bottles have been sitting on my living room floor, but you know, sealed. We just broke the seal off of these.
Yep, I just unsealed it, so it's actually has a nice freshness to it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know, that freshness can only be from a sealed bottle. It's really it's kind of nice. It's giving me a nice nice fresh agave maguey, and it's got
that's some deep.
Not a lot of alcohol.
Well,
getting a little touch here and there.
Yeah, in the center of the glass. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do. The alcohol is just presenting the aromas. I am getting a lot of baked espadin, but are you getting any wood notes?
Yeah, I'm getting like some light wood, you know, a little touch. Get a little pine, a little light wood, a little green, vegetal.
Pine, that's what I was getting. But you know, these are used bourbon barrels, so I'm not exactly sure what type of wood they were using.
Right.
But it's bourbon, so it's not whiskey.
I mean, it should be oak, right?
Yeah. So you say pine, maybe it could be the pine vats, because this is considered mezcal artesanal. So artisanal, that means that it's going to be fermented with fibers. It's usually fermented in wooden vats. That has to qualify in order for it to be called that. Artisanal, that means they can use a shredder. It doesn't tell us exactly what their maceration process is, but so far it smells beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to dive in. This is nice.
Let's dive in. I got some mint. I got like a minty, fresh, almost like a pine, like you said.
I mean, I could be wrong when I say pine, but the
pine, you know, the vats are pine.
The green vegetal, you know, that's part of it, and then it has a nice balance with the aroma. All right, let's see what this is about.
Let's see what we get. Here we go. Oh, wow. Well, that was only my first pass, but I'm impressed. What'd you get? What stood out for you?
Just letting it all sink in. I mean, it's got a vintage, classic agave profile. Well made, well balanced, and nice. It's just it's not overpowering one way or another. It's got a great balance, and just a touch of savory, and not a hint of sweet, not much on the sweetness, but nice. But it still has that nice balance.
It's got some really good
sweet and savory, but a balance of like oak and agave, I guess you would say.
There's a lot of depth to it. I've noticed. You're right. This is the first pass, and to be fair, I mean, I people who watch us know that I cleanse my palate before I even go on. So usually my first pass is not, you know, I would go. I want to dive in one more time, but I love how it's coating the palate right now, and I'm not sure if that's part of the baking, the smoke. That
the mouthfeel is great.
Oh, yeah.
Enter the mouthfeel, it's fantastic. And Do you kind of like, you know what I mean when I say like vintage kind of classic flavor profile?
Yeah, I do. I don't
Straightforward,
know.
well made,
Why don't
and
you explain
something
it? Because
too.
I get it. The thing is, this is so, for me, comes across like it's at a higher ABV because
Hmm.
it's only 43. This should be the depth and quality that I'm getting here. You normally get in like things that are 45, 46, a little bit higher, you know.
There is a depth of
40,
flavor. I mean, when I say vintage too, it's almost like kind of giving me like almost like tequila reposado vibes, you know, like an
yeah,
old
yeah.
school tequila reposado without too much of the mezcal process like indented on the flavor profile and the smoke or anything like that. It's just a nice balanced agave spirit, and it
So
has, that's why it kind of gives me that vintage like tequila reposado.
what you're
feel.
saying is that it's been aged in a barrel long enough to round out the edges.
Well, there's definitely that other layer beyond what I'm talking about. Then you get into that, you kind of go jump down to the next level, and you have that complexity. So it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna dive in one more
Oh,
time.
it's starting to open up too. It's like getting a little more. You can almost get a little more of the fruit and like just natural like sugars starting to open up.
Even a little bit. I'm getting even more barrel spice notes.
Yeah,
Just a little bit at the bottom of it.
this is great. Wow, we haven't. This is fun. We haven't done this in a while. It's but really fun.
Mm.
I'm getting a little more of the oak, and then just some starting to open up some more. You know, um, some more almost fruit, almost like dried fruit characteristic, and you know, still vegetal, but starting to open
retro
it up
nasal
another
is
way.
amazing. My retro, it sounds, I know if you're listening to us on the podcast, it sounds like I'm clearing my throat. I'm just trying to get some alcohol and gas molecules back up through my nasal passages to see what I'm missing. And I gotta tell you, man, that there's some deep, I'm getting fiber notes, you know, the fibrousness of the plant. I'm getting the hint of smoke is just doing what it's supposed to do, is coating your palate nicely, along with the barrel. I think the wood notes are doing their job, and you're right. It's got a great mouthfeel. How's your finish?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, the finish is pleasant, and it's. I was thinking actually about the how it would taste if you were to add like bitters and sugar and make it into an old fashioned.
I was gonna ask you how now. What do you think now about making that old fashioned with
I think it would
this
be killer, like a nice, you know, chilled cube. Thinking it's a hot day here in Arizona, I was like, I might have to like go find some bitters after this and like stir something up. You know what I mean? This is opening up some possibilities for my evening tonight.
It's got a lovely mouthfeel. It's
Yeah,
really doing
mouthfeel is great. I mean, it has. I would say, you know, it's definitely promising for me with the balance and the all around appeal. It's like a very, you know, it's a very high scoring product for me. I mean, I think it's
Yep,
pretty well made.
absolutely. I agree. I think we should right away go just brand of promise nominee. This is a Reposado Espadin.
And especially if that was its own category. I don't know if it is, but if Reposado Mezcal was its own category, watch out.
Well, it is
Getting
for
up
us. It is
very
for
much
us
on the
because
top.
you know, unless we get another Reposado at
Right.
43 ABV in the same region, that, you know, that's when I put these two together to compete. Otherwise, many of our mezcals and agave spirits, they open up their own categories because there's so many of them, folks.
I mean, well, for the uniqueness of it, the fact that, you know, there aren't as many reposados as we find Joven and Espadin regular. It's super good. It's well made, and it's like there's a lot you can do with this. I mean, this is also like a mezcal that you could introduce to all the waves of people that are kind of just now getting into mezcal, that you still find a lot of consumers are still being introduced to mezcal, and it's really transcended the whole Mexican spirits category. It's everywhere, cocktails everywhere, restaurants everywhere, coffee shops, you know, mezcal is happening. So this is a great representation and very approachable.
Yeah,
I'm liking it a lot.
I got
Forward to the,
I got nothing else to add. You pretty much
yeah,
covered
I
it
mean,
all,
that's a
man.
good, it really is a great approachable, and the product has the balance and the flavor profile that I would say it's very appealing.
It's great if you sip it, but it's also versatile. As Jason started the whole conversation, our whole tasting, this is where the versatility of agave spirits and mezcal in particular really shines, because if it's made well, and then obviously distillation and fermentation and all the stuff that goes in it, the old school stuff that goes in it, and then you age it just enough to round out the edges. A guy like you could go bananas, with figuring,
Tomorrow, little this, little that, everything.
You and I have not hung out in a long time. I'm sure if I ever showed up, I would be plied with all kinds of cocktails, because some of you who have watched Jason and myself do these tastings, Jay will come up with an idea and then we'll do a video right away. Make the cocktail.
On over.
Yeah, I know. No, but we actually did that one time. You were so inspired that I said, if you're in the we did that tasting. I think you were in your kitchen, and I said, well, if you got stuff in there, man, set it up. And
I think it was a so-called Negroni or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are killer.
Very beautiful. Brand Promise nominee in this category, folks. If you've had Prolijo, and if you haven't, go find it. I haven't done any research on it. Do we have a price point on this at all? Have you done any?
I mean, from what I remember reading about the brand, I mean, it's pretty much like prices that you would expect in this category of like, in the $50 range for the Reposado. But don't quote me on it, because I don't want to. I know that I think it's like priced competitively, and I think it's going to be reasonably priced wherever you go, but I wouldn't expect it to be like extraordinary. I don't know the details.
Yeah, well, we'll do some research off camera, but in the meantime, love this stuff. We love their first expressions when they first came on board, and we were fortunate enough to get these. I think I got like a smaller bottles, because but these are the curated line, and we'll have more information for you in the next couple of reviews. But that's our take. That's Prolijo Reposado. If you've had it, folks, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, if you're watching us on anywhere else, leave us a comment. Let us know what you're doing with it, how much you're paying for it, where you can find it. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, share it with all your other mezcal buddies. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.